What about the, you know, mental state that, it takes you through? I'm sure it takes a toll. You are surrounded by stories of these survivors or traffickers, cases that you're not able to, crack, cases that you're able to crack, all of that. I'm sure it's not a very pleasant, news or environment to be in. So how has it impacted your mental health? Do you think that many like you in the social field also required some sort of mental aid or mental support to go through, or some tips, or simply how you handle it? Hi Pallavi, you welcome to It's Quite Simple, and I am super glad for you to be a part of this. Um, you are a social entrepreneur, and I have nothing but I'm super inspired by what you do every day, and I really wanted all our listeners to be a part of the journey that you have, how you've come about this journey, what are the challenges, the good and bad of it, how has it impacted your mental health, and how do you keep going every day? These are some of the questions we're going to answer in this podcast, and I'm super grateful for you to be a part of this. So we're going to start with a very simple, basic introduction. I'm Symbol. I'm the host of the show, and I've been doing this for quite some time now. And I get people on board to talk about things that they do for their living and how it impacts their mental health, and what keeps them going every day. And I would love for you to introduce yourself to everyone listening to this and watching this, and we can then take it from there.
Hi, Symbol. Thank you for calling me. Uh, at
Yes,
first, I would like to thank you for calling me. So, if I would like to introduce myself, so I have been working in the anti-trafficking space for the last, you can say, 11 years, like 10 and a half, 11 years. And in this time, I have rescued a lot of people from all kinds of trafficking. And why I became an anti-trafficking activist, there's a story behind it. The main thing is there was an incident when I was 12. Now I am around 32. So 21 years back, something happened. 21 years back, something happened. I was roaming in a village in West Bengal, and there was this man who I meet who says his daughter is missing. And that is when it was triggered, and that's how I followed. And then I got to know about begging initially. Then I got to know about armed soldiers, followed by multiple others like forced marriage, prostitution. So it was like it happened organically. So you can say the first 10 years was all about, we didn't have dictionaries and all. We didn't have, sorry, Google. I used to write in dictionaries, I used to talk to people, I used to meet police officers. People used to laugh at me. I was a kid that time. And for the longest time, I did not share with people known to me that what I was doing, because the whole thing of I did not even know what the word trafficking or activist means. It just happened. And after the first 10 years, when I was around 21, 22, that's when I decided that okay, I have to do something about it. I came out, I studied, and after that I started working on it. First into complete rescue, like rescuing people from all kinds of trafficking, from brothels, red light areas, drugs, a lot of things. But the
Mhm.
next few years was mostly, which I'm doing now also, was about rehabilitation of these people. Rehabilitation includes mental health, rehabilitation includes giving them access to livelihood, rehabilitation includes, their holistic development, uh, poverty alleviation. There's couple of things along with prevention work that I've been doing.
What made you, start on this journey? Because social work as an industry in itself is led by passion. Not that other fields aren't, but more so here, you don't get in thinking about the immediate rewards that you will receive in monetary form or in form of perks, unlike what happens in other sectors. Um, as a little girl, you said that at 12, when you met someone, and you got to know that yeah, his child was missing, and you got to deep dive into it. What was it like for you? Were you scared? at one point did you decide, okay, this is where I want to be and I want to take my career, or did it gradually happen for you?
It gradually happened because the thing is that I was 12. I was very, very small. It's not possible at that point of time. You don't even know how you would want to go about it. You
Absolutely.
don't even know if you're making sense. Like a lot of people are like laughing at me. For the longest time, my family didn't even know that I was pursuing something like that. Forget about my friends. And I never showed it. Like ऐसा नहीं है कि I didn't show them means I was doing it secretly. I was just I didn't want to tell anybody because there is this whole thing of creating a hue and cry about this and then doing nothing about it. So the first 10 years happened organically. Of course, I tried. I tried to reach in police stations. I tried to talk about people about these issues. But the next 11 years, when I was 21, from there I've been very serious and very passionately trying to do something. So yeah, it was challenging. It's difficult. It's difficult even now. This month I have been in Bangalore. Of course, I was in a couple of places for my work in South, but now again I'm traveling. So I travel 25 days a month. So it's difficult. Like when you talk about mental health, it's definitely difficult for the people I work with and for me also. It's quite difficult.
Right. Of course. I can only imagine. Uh, how do you think that, now that you've been doing it for a couple of years, what does it feel like? What gives you a sense of accomplishment when you are, in you taken up something which is a social cause. You're doing or giving something back to the society. What comes back in the sense of accomplishment? Is it the lives of these girls that you see? Um, and what or is it just knowing that someone is safe or safer in a better place because you were able to contribute it in some way? What sense of accomplishment do you feel, uh, you know because it's not quantifiable, I'm sure. It comes from a place of the conversations you have with them, I'm sure, and all of that.
So the thing is that the accomplishment. If I say there is a couple of things in the some people uh, think of accomplishment is like money. Some people
Mm,
think fame. Some people think success. I would say, of course, as far as money is concerned, definitely no. As far as fame is concerned, I would say no because until the last 6 months, until the last 8 months, nobody knew me. I was not at all active in LinkedIn also
mm,
because I have chosen to be anonymous and not known, not because of fear. Because if I was scared, then I would never be been in the sector. It is just that I didn't want to, not for my security, for people around me. So before the last 8 months, nobody even knew about it. Just in Facebook, couple of times I used to put about rescue operations. Now also I don't put. I go to rescue operations almost every single day or every second day, but you will find me not putting it. Um, I get people asking me, "Madam, आपने TED talks नहीं दिए?" Like I had people, and then I was like, "No." And then like, "You've done so much of work. Why didn't you?" Simple. I never felt that giving a TED talk is so important.
absolutely.
I never
Absolutely.
felt. Abhibi yesterday, day before yesterday, I was called for a TED talk, but I
Mm,
was already in a fellowship. I denied. I'm in Bangalore. I was called for a TED talk in Bangalore, but I denied because I had already prior commitment. In my field of work, the biggest important or the foremost thing is, giving your word to somebody. And then
absolutely.
going back in that is something that is absolutely unprofessional. So that I would not say. Yes, I have accomplished in the sense I have accomplished immense satisfaction. I'm content and I've rescued thousands of people. But if you ask me, the only thing that I am happy about is, I won't say a lot of people say that you are leaving a legacy behind. I don't say about legacy because these are very big, high profile words for me. I feel, I have contributed in some way in somebody's life. So
Right.
I don't, so today somebody told me, today somebody sent me a link for Martha Farrell Award. And they were like, nominate yourself. I'm like, how to nominate myself? I don't know. Matlab, who does that? And then they were like, we're just joking. And then they were like, why don't you do it? So I see Simple, like it's been 11 years and I've been extensively working in it, and I've got 2 awards last year. And I see people around me getting 20, 30 awards. I have no problem with that. It's just that, no time.
Absolutely. When you're
There's
doing the real work,
Yeah,
you
absolutely no
have
time.
time.
I'll tell you. I since morning I have been, because tomorrow I'm traveling to a couple of states. I'll be going to Delhi, then West Bengal, then Assam, then Bihar, couple of places. So I woke up very early morning. I was doing a lot of work, and then at 3 o'clock I was like I should sleep, and then I slept off. Just now before talking to you, I told my mother to wake me. Suddenly at 4:45, I knew I had to wake up because I had a call with you. So, it is just that sleep patterns are also very difficult. And honestly telling you, that running after an award has never been my thing. So that is not. So, yes, there are a lot of inconspicuous benefits that I've got. And as far as the conspicuous benefits, I think they are all temporary, short-lived. Yeah. Of course, I won't say
Absolutely.
that money is not important. Definitely, money is important. Without money, the main reason for not having money is trafficking. Like my
Traffic.
survivors are trafficked because of. So, if I tell you that I don't need money, that would be like such a lie. But of
Lie.
course,
Absolutely.
these are all needed, but these are short-lived things. So that's what I wanted to tell you.
This is not what makes you do what you do.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. And so, Pallavi, you being a woman yourself, right, to be able to do things, so fearlessly, so courageously, I'm sure you do come in the radar of a lot of people who are doing, such activities.
Mhm.
Uh, what does it feel like being a woman, yourself?
See, it has been both a plus point and a minus point. Plus point mostly because uh, I think a lot of my work depends on how I carry myself. It's very important. You have to be very stern, very firm. You can't just be not serious. And when I talk about seriousness, means the work that you do.
Hmm.
Because I tell you, I've gone to rescue operation with 20 men, all men, no women. I'm the only woman. Till it's been 11 years, a lot of people say that police people harass, police people try to get cozy. I think it's not about women or men, it depends on yourself also. And yeah, it's been challenging. There have been attacks, there have been threats, everything. But then at the end of the day, you chose this, right? You chose to do this. So you can't complain. Ab kisko complain karenge? There's no point. So I would say that I have come across really good people, in the sense that my focus whenever I go for any rescue operation is to just rescue the person. It doesn't matter what I do, how I do. And it is difficult, but then you learn it, like how to handle yourselves. Like for example, I'll tell you, certain rescue operations I have been in, like in between cotton fields with water and buffaloes all around. There's no bathrooms. I got so many times, like what you call infection. I got allergies and all this. I got couple of things. But no, the only thing that kept me going was the fact that when you rescue a child or a woman, and the look the person gives you, like you are not God. You have done it with the help of police only. But the thing is that that expression is priceless. I don't know. And anybody listening to me might be thinking that what am I speaking? But this is something. This feeling is very very personal. It is
Absolutely.
you can't explain it to people, and that is one of the main reason I work in rehabilitation. When I talk ahead, I'll be sharing more about it.
Okay. What about your journey, Pallavi? Like, I am sure, like you're talking about, unfavorable conditions for you physically, but what about the, you know, mental state that, it takes you through? I'm sure it takes a toll. You are surrounded by stories of these survivors or traffickers, cases that you're not able to, crack, cases that you're able to crack, all of that. I'm sure it's not a very pleasant, news or environment to be in. So, how has it impacted your mental health? Do you think that many like you in the social field also required some sort of mental aid or mental support to go through, you know, or some tips, or simply how you handle it?
See, the thing is that it takes a real toll on the mental health, I'll tell you. Like it takes a real toll on the mental health because the reason is very clear and very simple. The it is not a easy field.
Hmm.
It is definitely not a easy field. It has it has a lot of repercussions. The social field, I don't know if you have been a part in the social sector. The main issue in social sector is the pay is always very less.
Right.
The pay is very less, which is which really takes a toll on people's mind because they can't afford basic expenses. That's the first thing. Second thing is, violence. Violence happening in your house is a different sort of trauma. Violence happening around you is a different trauma. And there's always violence happening around you. And I remember I went to a fellowship just for a week from the 26th to the 30th. You know, I generally don't break out. The first time I broke out was once during a session like this, and the second time was during this fellowship. I try to not break out, or you can say, get emotional, but because it's extreme violence. You meet women, you meet girls who have been raped multiple times. You meet people who have been abused by their father, by their brother, by their mother. The stories are horrifying, traumatic. You can't share those stories. They are triggering. They like you. And also, one thing that I maintain is that I don't want to share somebody's story to somebody else without even naming them or quoting them, because the story sharing comes from a very personal space. And even if I share with you without quoting the name, that is also a violation of their rights, I feel. So I don't
Absolutely.
do that. I have maintained that a lot. And it takes a toll on my mental health because, you know it's like one after another blow of bad and trauma, bad and sad trauma. And that traumas are too traumatic. Like we always think, okay, this also happened, okay, this can also happen. Now then you start questioning your privilege.
Right.
You start
Right.
questioning your privilege. Like we keep cribbing all day that I don't have this, I don't have that. And when you talk to these people, when you meet with these people, when you leave with these people, you are like how ungrateful person I am. I have food, clothing, shelter. I don't have to think about my next meal. I don't have to think about traveling. I can fly. I can do whatever I want. And still, I'm like, I don't have this. So, that also creates a lot of pressure because I have seen the fag end of both the worlds.
Hmm.
The world where there is money, not because you have money, but you have access to people who have money, also to
Absolutely.
people who have nothing. So, and it affects the mental health definitely. Last year, for 6 months, I was in acute depression. And it took me so long to accept that I'm in depression. I went to clinical psychologists for help. There was a time when I used to cry early morning to end of the night because there is this always pressure on me. I have to do something for these girls. It's not that I
Right.
have to get an award, but I have to do something.
Right.
And if I don't do
Right.
that, why am I not doing it?
Right.
And that's when I realized that I need to go slow. I have to give time to myself. So it's been
Absolutely.
challenging and it's difficult. I'll tell you, it really, and a lot of people don't understand. A lot of
Hmm.
people don't understand. They were like, "Aap to you are such a big activist. How can this happen with you? How can you
Feel
be
this way.
be abused?"
Yeah.
So it's difficult. It's
Okay.
really difficult.
Do you practice something else other than, you spoke about talking to a therapist, you spoke about, giving yourself that pep talk that, I have to calm myself down. I have to focus on my mental health in order to be able to help someone else. Are there some activities that you do like meditation or,
Yeah. Yeah.
and how,
So one thing that I completely do is I cook a lot. That's kind of a therapy for me. I really do that.
yeah,
I walk at least 10 kilometers every day.
Wow.
Alone, not
Wow.
with anybody, because that is the time when you can say I can vent out whatever I'm feeling inside.
Right.
So that is
Right.
the second thing that I do. I write a lot.
Okay. Okay.
And I had a huge friend circle,
Mm.
which has cut down to just 5 or 6 people. Because
Right.
I had this notion for the longest time in my life that everybody is my friend. No, everybody is
Absolutely.
not your friend. You have people who are your acquaintances, you have people who are your media people, you have people like, and you have to understand that. You have to understand that you cannot share your personal things with people. And yes, I go to mental health professionals from time to time,
Okay.
because I have started understanding that if my mental health is not good, how can I look for somebody else's mental health? So definitely.
So Pallavi, this this sector that you're in, you know, anti-trafficking operations that you partake in. If as a listener they want to understand the basic condition of India, because from what I've understood, unless and until I had a conversation with you, to be very honest, I have not been aware of what the scene has been like. I have not been aware of how difficult it must be for someone like you and many others like you, uh, you know to actually uh, go there and be able to help these girls out. um, uh, how many operations you've been participated in? Would you, if you would just like to talk a little about what you do there, your work, and what's the scene like in India, to just help others understand the gravity of the situation, because I think there is absolutely zero awareness in that field. And also for people who want to be a part of this sector, these social entrepreneurs who want to participate, um, activists who want to come forward and contribute to the cause.
Uh, See, the thing is that human trafficking is a billion-dollar industry. There is a lot of exchange of money that happens in this field. I have been part of uncountable rescue operation. On record, people say that I've rescued more than 10,000 person based on the FIRs. I have a huge number of FIRs where my name is there. So it's difficult, it's risky, and I don't know how many rescue operations I have been part of because I go almost every second. uh, it is India is in the two tier. We tell second tier. India is in the second tier, in the 1 to 10th rank. Huge number of trafficking happens for sex, for cheap labor and sex. We talk about only trafficking in terms of prostitution, forced marriage, child begging, skin grafting, organ harvesting. Then there are a lot of child soldiers, a lot of things. There are multiple causes. There is unsafe migration, there's poverty, illiteracy, unemployment, natural disasters, a lot of things, traditional culture and practices. But we forget to think that it's all interconnected and interrelated. Like I'll just tell you, when I used to do rescue operations in Haryana, I started realizing that there were dowry, due to which there were female infanticide and feticide, due to which girls were picked up from other states for marriage, due to which they went missing. And yes, when trafficking happened, they were forcibly married, there was marital rape. Of course, I'm not saying that only trafficked girls are raped maritally. There are other girls, also other girls or women. And then comes this whole thing of bondage. There was this domestic violence. So, you know how everything is interconnected and it's all connected to patriarchy and patriarchal mindset. The fact that a woman can't wear these, that a woman can't do these, that a woman can't talk these, the way we glorify women, that women
Mm.
are like doing everything. We worship women and then we abuse women. So I think it's in our psyche, the fact of assumed responsibility. If you say that we women keep doing work, invisible work, forget about being appreciation, just think about this unpaid labor, no, that women do all the time.
Right.
So it comes from what? It comes from the complete thing of patriarchy. As India is concerned, now it's no more a trafficking, it's actually modern slavery. Because millions of people are trafficked worldwide. The difference between human trafficking, drugs, and arms trafficking is arms and drugs can be sold once.
Right.
But a human person, a individual person, in flesh and blood can be sold multiple times.
That is absolutely
Yeah.
very, very aptly put, Pallavi. And do you think that as a country there are enough people, enough activists who are actually helping this cause? Or do you think there are any laws? Would you like to shed some light in terms of the challenges you face every day in terms of work?
See, there are no, definitely not enough activists, I'll tell you. The thing is that there are organizations, huge organizations working, many organizations working. But the problem is that a lot of organizations don't realize that in trafficking, it is all about rehabilitation mainly, not rescue. Because you have to understand why they're trafficked in the first place. There is a need. There is a need for money, there is a need for food, there is a need. Purpose is one aspect. That's what I feel. But it's because of we don't have money, we don't have food. So rescue करके क्या होगा? I'm not saying that rescue is bad, but if you don't empower a person, if you don't give that person alternative livelihood, what is the point? So I think definitely there are no many activists, not many people. The biggest challenge which I have seen is in my years of work, people just look into rescuing them and then forgetting about them. So there's no point about it. Like you cannot just keep rescuing them and not doing anything about them. So that's where is my problem. Definitely there are no ample activists, and it's not about ample thing. Also, people work in silos. People don't
Absolutely.
work together. um,
They
that
do
is
their job and then that's it.
yes,
They don't
yes,
care what happens in the next step, basically.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And how has it, so, now you've been doing this for so many years, but, for someone who's been wanting to start, are there any government provisions? Is there any guardrail? You know, what is the journey that they will have to undertake at least to be a part of,
See,
contribute?
first of all, nobody gave me, the organization that I worked with, they gave me access to raids, but they never taught me to do those raids.
Okay.
So it's
So
like
you have
you
to.
are alone. You are absolutely alone. There is nobody to help you. So you
Mhm.
cannot say that somebody will help you. Definitely there are no people to help you. You have to learn it. You have to learn. I learned it. I tell you, I learned it. Nobody helped me. Nobody, I won't say anybody supported me, but nobody helped me. I
Mhm.
learned it myself. It was tough. Even now, I saw people, mocking at me, telling me. A lot of people didn't even know that after I left my first organization, I have been, doing multiple raids with multiple people. But, tell them. I don't share because it's not easy to share about them. So if anybody wants to learn, I would tell them, please reach out to me. I'll try my level best to teach you. Nobody teaches you because unless and until you're in police also they don't teach you. You have to learn it. So it's tough. It's definitely tough. That's what I would say.
So, do you think that you have built a support system in order to be able to, go through this, to be able to, find that support to be family, friends, anything? Because it's such a lonely journey that way. Like you said, that nobody taught you how to do those raids. And
Hmm.
maybe if there was someone else and that person would have had like 2 3 bad experiences, it would have been they would have stopped, right? Because it's much more difficult. So do
Hmm.
you think that something or someone has inspired you in some way, or there has been some pillar of strength that you have uh, that has become your biggest strength to deal with this?
Uh, Frankly speaking, nobody has been in the sector for like nobody has been in the sector for the longest time. I'll tell you. The reason is that it is not easy, and the fact that why nobody is there, there are multiple reasons for it. It's because people don't talk about it. One, and second, the main thing is that people don't have support system. Nobody supports them. You will not believe that I had people leaving this sector for the longest time. They left. Like they they were never there in the sector only because they were like कि हम लोग इधर है हम क्या करेंगे हमको तो
Mm.
अटैक होता है सपोर्ट सिस्टम तो है ही नहीं पे इज लेस कोर्ट से भी समन्स आते रहते हैं लाइक आई एम स्टिल हैव एन विटनेस आई हैव 5 6 विटनेस आई एम गोइंग टू दिल्ली so there is absolutely no support. The organizations with
Right.
whom you work, organizations with whom I had worked initially first,
Mm.
they had done no help to me. They were not, forget about talking. They think that you're a machine, you have to just work. They don't understand about your mental health. So that
Mm.
itself is a problem. We talk about inclusivity, we talk about transparency, but let me tell you, there is absolutely nothing.
There is no transparency, there's no
Yeah, yeah,
inclusivity.
yeah. It's really very
So
difficult.
the so amidst it all, Pallavi, like you have also become a social entrepreneur and not just an activist. You've basically, become independently, taking this on your own. Do you think that that gives you a lot more, you know, uh, leverage or advantages over people who work with other organizations? And now you feel that I'm sure you have networked in the industry, because you do these raids, you do these operations, you've made allies in different fields. You'll be able to help these girls. And so do you think that becoming a social entrepreneur from an just only an activist has helped you, in a way in the job?
So, see, I became an activist because of multiple reasons. The reason is that first I did not want to be under anybody and do nothing about it because I have seen for the longest time that I had worked in this sector. I had people and I couldn't do anything. They were like all the time over my head of if you can tell me they were just monitoring me, not doing any help to me, and the impactful work that I wanted to do went down the drain. So yes, working alone is easy, but again it's a gamble because you don't get paid. What do you do? Like I'm not getting paid now. Whatever I money I earn in terms of consultancy, it's given to my survivors, my rehabilitation program. So are you ready to take that plunge?
That's the question. That's the
Yes.
question. And so you want to talk about a little about your rehabilitation program and how it helps
See,
these survivors.
yeah, so my rehabilitation is very different in the sense the moment I rescue children or rescue persons, I make sure that they are counseled. One thing, and when you talk about counseling, it's not just random counseling. It's a lot to do with different kinds of other counselings that these people do, and followed by a mapping of their area where they can be rehabilitated in terms of given alternative source of livelihood. I have three categories of women and like survivors and at-risk population. One is people, I do a mapping of their area, find out what they want to do. It can be stitching, it can be goat farming, it can be kitchen garden, it can be pig farming, it can be anything once. Second is people, those who want to do coding welding. I put them in
Mm.
organizations with whom I had contacts and they do it free of cost, residential programs. The third is people who want to study and become like a doctor or an engineer. I get sponsors for them. These are the three things. As far as rehabilitation is concerned, the moment we rescue a person, we just let that person breathe. We just don't give immediate counseling because a lot of people mistake counseling with conversations. A lot of
Mm.
organizations, what they do, they just take your detail and make a documentation out of it and say that हमने counseling किया. That's not counseling.
Right.
A lot of times you have to understand that the person to whom you want to counsel, does that person actually need counseling?
Mm. Right.
uh, if that person doesn't need counseling, why are you giving them? And it's not like they don't need it, it's just that they don't even accept that they need counseling.
Mm.
And then we do a analysis of their mental health, social health, physical health, psychological health, First it's every 15 days, then it becomes every month, seeing on the progress, then it becomes every 6 months. And we do a lot of destigmatization workshops with families, schools, communities, because you face the biggest stigma and taboo from your own family.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
this is what we do, like in terms of.
Someone who wishes to become a social entrepreneur, uh, embark on the specific field, what is the suggestion that you want to give to them? Someone who wants to get into this field knowing fully well. So we spoke about mental health, we spoke about how there is absolutely no support. We spoke about how it's so difficult to understand the next step, and you have to constantly keep telling yourself that what you're doing is okay. So for somebody who wants to join and who wants to get in, and someone listening to this who has maybe always had inclination or is aware of certain cases and is not willing to speak up, uh, what what do you want to say to such people? And I think that is the takeaway from this conversation, this fulfilling conversation that we've had. What do you want to say to them in terms of a takeaway from this conversation?
The first thing that you have to understand is how much risk are you planning to take? How much risk are you planning to take? Because the first important uh, thing is, are you clear that you will be able to sustain without money? Because in social impact sector you don't get money initially.
And the challenges that come along with it. So do you think, are there any resources that people can read about this? Is there any sort of a framework for people to understand the sector better, or
See,
anything at all, or it's
yeah,
just
yeah. See,
plain?
there is no framework. There are different courses people do. There is the rural management. There is couple of things. There is rural management. There is what you call development studies. There is a lot of things. But until and unless you want to go to the ground, you
Exactly.
cannot you cannot do anything.
Absolutely.
You have to understand what is actually in the sector. So that is a very important thing. That is one thing that we have to figure out. And I would say, like, actually this question makes me think, because it's really risky. Are you able to, will you be able to have money to sustain your livelihood? Because there's no money. It's a lot of risk on your mental, physical health. Are you able to take it? Society will not accept you because that's an unchosen field. Uh, are you ready to do follow your passion and think that for the next 10 years मुझे पैसा नहीं मिलेगा? Are you
Right.
able to live in any kind of conditions with no access to health, hygiene, uh, a, a proper structure, like a house to live in? Because I remember I used to live in places where there were no bathrooms. There were just, basta, जो हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं, like basta outside my house, rice bags,
Hmm.
and not houses in the bathrooms. And I'd have to use the toilet there. So how much risk are you going to take? That's the first question. Do
Right.
you have any bank balance if any emergency comes? Forget
Right.
about other things in terms of health. How many contacts you have that if you go to the field, that without having money you can have food and accommodation, because that's the
Right.
primary thing.
Right. Right.
How much of you know how much you can take in terms of, because a lot of social impact jobs are very toxic and it gaslights you a lot. हम बोलते कुछ है करते कुछ है, especially because of
Absolutely.
my personal experience. And being an entrepreneur is challenging. Never ever find a co-founder or another person with you in the team with whom take, see, how will you know the person is good or bad? लोग बोलते हैं ना, मैं तो co-founder मैंने बना लिया, अब वो बुरा बन गया.
Hmm.
Always try to find out. Running a thing alone is very difficult. I'm running it alone. Try to find somebody who complements your skills.
Absolutely.
If you're good in writing, research, try find somebody who is good in funding, networking, social media. A team of two is always a plus point. Three is it's really good. But then, these are the ground rules. And nobody taught me. I just learned it. कि ये सब है. And most importantly, remember that at least you should have your family. Even if you don't have family, at least one person from the family backing you. Because the journey is very emotional. पैसे तो मिल जाते हैं, बट वो जो कॉल करके कि आप एक प्रॉब्लम में, वो शेयर करने का इंसान नहीं मिलता. So
Absolutely.
this you are an entrepreneur symbol. You know your journey. I keep reading about your good work. So you know how far you have come from where you started. So
Absolutely.
and it's a
Absolutely.
lot of pressure. आप कितना भी famous बन जाओ, आपके पास कितना भी पैसा आ जाए, you are alone. लोगों को लगता है कि वाह अवार्ड मिल गया, बहुत है. You are alone. Even if
You
you
are
have the,
alone.
even
It's
if
a
you
very
have your,
lonely journey.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
absolutely. And who can tell
Very
it
lonely.
better apart from you?
Absolutely. And I think you have to keep telling yourself every day that you're doing enough, because the guilt of not doing enough eats you up. And especially in your case, when you're helping someone out, you all, because if you help five people, you think, why didn't I help 10? You help 10 people, you think, why didn't I help 15? So I think that, that because there's such big numbers that you're fighting, that fight is, you always feel smaller, in that fight. And I think that in itself is, commendable, Pallavi, of what you do, how you do it. Us sitting here in the comfort of our houses find it very easy to, maybe talk about it on a podcast like we're doing it right now. But when you're out there actually, doing things that you do, knowing that it's a risk to your health, it's a risk to your life, it's a risk to, maybe your loved ones also.
Mm.
We don't know how bad it gets out there. You save these lives, literally gives a second life to these girls that you rescued. So uh, I I don't know if it counts, but I would like to say thank you to you from behalf of what I've, heard in terms of your journey and how it's been like. And I am super grateful. So thank you so much for being a part of this. Every time, I was just listening to you in this conversation, and I'm trying to think to myself that, oh my God, I cry about such things in my life, and there are much bigger things happening. It doesn't mean you to undermine your own journey, because everyone has their,
It's everybody.
but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They never do that.
but I think just knowing that, what you do for a living is not for yourself, but like so many lives that are connected to you. So I think that's an inspiration, and I really really hope that, once this goes out, people understand, the different domains of, what it's like, what people do for a living, and how it impacts your mental health, as well as the, lives of so many people that you touch. So thank you so much, Pallavi. This has been amazing. It's always a delight to listen to you talk. You're such a strong minded, dedicated woman, and it really, from a fellow woman, it's really inspirational to me. So thank you so much.